What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in. My name is Richie Malora, live on Bleacher Report. We are talking all things New York Jets in today's edition of Jets Weekly on the great Bleacher Report app. We are live on YouTube at the same time, and we're excited to talk all things New York Jets. There's a lot of things that you need to get into regarding your New York Jets. Free agency feels like it's all wrapped up for the New York Jets. Obviously, there's some other signings happening around the NFL, such as Stephon Diggs going to New England, which impacts the Jets just because it's a division rival, of course. Russell Wilson went to the Giants. So there are some players still out there. Aaron Rodgers still out there, former Jet quarterback. But it seems like the Jets went through free agency, and it seems like they're all pretty much wrapped up with their free agency class. And maybe they'll make some depth moves, but at the end of the day, I think they went out there and got all the big-time pieces that they wanted to so far. So shout out to everybody tuning in the chat right now. We're live again on Bleacher Report at the same time as YouTube. I'm going to drop the Bleacher Report link in the chat on YouTube in case you guys want to come over and join the party on Bleacher Report, because that's where the real party is on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. EST. You guys can expect your boy live here on the great Bleacher Report app and website. So let's get straight into business, because there's a lot of speculation regarding the New York Jets with Justin Fields being their brand new quarterback. Who will the Jets go into the NFL draft and get to support Justin Fields? And that's what I wanted to talk about, because I feel like you look at this NFL draft class, there's not too much to be excited about in terms of the wide receiver position, in my opinion, in the first round for the Jets at pick number 7. The only way the Jets land a wide receiver in the first round, in my opinion, is if they trade down. I don't know if Ted McMillan or a guy like that's going to be worth getting for the New York Jets, but I do think that a really good option for the New York Jets could be, of course, Tyler Warren. All right. I really do like the idea of Tyler Warren being the New York Jets pick at pick number 7. I do think that would be beneficial for the New York Jets, of course. Armand Membu is a guy that you got to watch out for the New York Jets, because I think Armand Membu, being a right tackle, is going to fill in a huge hole for the New York Jets at that spot. And when you evaluate the process of the New York Jets in free agency, someone in the chat on Bleacher Report says they went cheap, right? That's a good narrative. I feel like that's a narrative that some Jets fans are hopping on right now. And listen, what do you expect the Jets to do with the brand new coaching staff here? Do you expect Aaron Glenn to come in here and spend, and Darren Muji and spend all that money right away? I mean, I'm personally not expecting that. I don't know about you guys, but I did not expect this Jets team to go out there and, spend money like the New England Patriots did, for example. First of all, we don't have the money to do that. And second of all, definitely do not expect the Jets to be that team to be spending all over the place. That's how I look at it. You guys should be looking at that too, man. You guys should be looking at it like that too. That's how I operate. When you look at what this Jets team is about, they need to develop this team before you can go out there and be splashy in free agency and make all the moves that every fan base seems like they want them to move. Like, all the Jets fans got to realize what they did in free agency is smart. Now, I may be the minority here, but you look at what the Jets did in free agency this past year, I think it was a smart free agency class. They went bargain shopping, if that's how you want to look at it. They definitely did. Can't lie, right? You look at the signings that this Jets team made, right? It's obviously one of those signings. You look at all the moves that they made. It was definitely something where it was cheap. And I'm going to put on your screen here, folks, the full free agency class for this Jets team, right? You look at Brandon Stevens is probably the only guy that you can really look at and say, okay, the Jets actually spent some money there. But Justin Fields is your hot target, hot piece. And you also notice a trend here. All the players the New York Jets brought in free agency, they're not locked up here long-term. It's just one-year deals everywhere besides Fields and, of course, Brandon Stevens, and extending Jamie Sherwood for the long term. So that's how I look at it. They are trying to develop the guys that they want. I do not want this team to go after and sign all these players in free agency just to, handicap this team cap-wise down the line. I'd rather them be smart with their money, so when we are able to pay the guys that are eligible to get paid, like Garrett Wilson, for example, Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, all these guys that are looking for extensions will be able to pay them. And that's, I think, what this Jets team is doing right now currently. So you guys let me know your thoughts of that, because I definitely feel like if you're a Jets fan, it seems like majority of Jets fans are a little bit underwhelmed with the whole process of the free agency class for the New York Jets, which I understand, but you got to really open up your mind a little bit, in my opinion, because I feel like they did a pretty good job, and I did not expect this team to go out there and do much. So another narrative I wanted to talk about, which is a really interesting one here, is this player on your screen right now is still on the New York Jets roster. Yes, wide receiver Allen Lazard is on the Jets roster still. Some people are wondering why. And you look at the wide receiver position for this Jets team, they don't have anybody outside of Garrett Wilson to be excited about. So my question to you guys is Allen Lazard going to be on the Jets roster? Because I think a lot of people have been penciling Allen Lazard in as a cut candidate or a trade candidate, but he hasn't been cut or traded yet. I think this could be a move potentially after the NFL draft. But you look at the wide receiver room, I mean, he's not a terrible player, but he's also not great, right? So I think at this stage of the New York Jets team and this new regime with Justin Fields, why not keep Lazard, I guess? If he's a cheap contract, you don't really have a lot of bodies outside of GW. We got Malachi Corley, Xavier Gibson, Allen Lazard. That's it. So until the Jets make a trade for a wide receiver, until they make some type of move, it makes sense for him to be here, but I would prefer to get rid of him and start new, start fresh. But that's just me. I don't know if you guys would agree with that. You guys let me know in the comments what's your thoughts of the whole Allen Lazard situation, because it definitely seems like they are linked to the man in terms of they're not getting rid of him. They're not getting rid of him. Now, there is one specific player that has been linked to the New York Jets a lot in the first round, and that is Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren is a guy that I think Jets fans have been very, very happy about, very pleased with when it comes to the NFL draft side of things, right? You look at what the Jets have done recently. I think that Tyler Warren would fit perfectly with this Jets team. You look at the 7th overall pick and you're wondering, okay, we did not sign a tight end that's worth noting besides Stone Smart. I mean, no disrespect to Stone Smart, but obviously we expect a little bit more from that position. Tyler Conklin is officially a Los Angeles Charger. You look at that tight end spot. I think the Jets having multiple meetings with Tyler Warren tells you that they're very interested in him. I think his athleticism is unique for the position. I think that his blocking ability is awesome. And I would love this tight end. I really, really would. I think the Jets getting Tyler Warren would be absolutely beneficial for this Jets football team. It adds a unique playmaker to this offense that I think we desperately need, because we have two difference makers, in my opinion, on offense around Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall. Breece Hall has to really show that he can be that difference maker, but Justin Fields, he's going to provide an element to this offense that we've never seen before for the Jets, and that's running the football. And I think Tyler Warren could help you run the football with his blocking ability, setting up the play action, all that fun stuff. So I'm on board with Tyler Warren at 7. You turn on every single mock draft around the NFL, and it seems like everybody links Tyler Warren to the New York Jets for pick number 7, which I find extremely interesting. So you guys let us know your thoughts of that. Now it's time to get into the juiciness. Now it's time to get into the controversial topics amongst Jets fans. I can't wait for this one, because this man on your screen right here is linked to the New York Jets. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. Yes, he is linked to the Jets. ESPN's Rich Cimini keeps linking him to the New York Jets. Todd McShay actually mentioned that. You'll see on your screen right here. The New York Jets, he said, the Jets at 7 should not be ignored. Drafting Jackson Dart, just don't be surprised if that builds some steam in the coming weeks, right? So I'm going to start off by saying this. I would be absolutely shocked if the Jets drafted Jackson Dart with the 7th overall pick. I would be. I think that would be a complete shock to the NFL world, but I will not rule out the Jets drafting him later on in the NFL draft or in the 2nd round, right? I think trading up from your 2nd round pick to snag him would be ideal. But I feel like the buzz around the Jets with Jackson Dart is real. there's real buzz around there. And I feel like some people are ignoring it and they don't want to acknowledge the fact that this is a legit possibility that the New York Jets could go out there and draft Jackson Dart, right? And I feel like there's going to be a big race for him as we enter the mid rounds of the first round. And in order for the Jets to secure him, they would have to trade up from the second round pretty high. And unless they want to take him at pick 7, which I don't see the Jets doing. So you guys let me know, would Jackson Dart be a quarterback you want the Jets to draft? Because the way I look at it is this, man. Justin Fields, he's exciting. He's a young player with some upside here, but I'm not really looking at Justin Fields as the potential franchise quarterback until he proves it. And I think the Jets are going to want to draft their own guy. And Jackson Dart has shown a lot of flashes in the pre-draft process of positives. Of course, there's negatives to be concerned with. And I feel like if you are drafting a quarterback that high at pick number 7, you got to get it. You got to get it right. 100%. This Jets regime needs to hit a home run with their 7th overall pick. And I feel like when we're talking about the Jets in the draft, a lot of people like to run away from the reality that Jackson Dart is a legit option. And I'm here to tell you guys, you got to stop avoiding the truth, because I don't think it's just pure smoke. I really don't think it's pure smoke, because you look at all the reports around the league, man, it's real. You see it everywhere. Like, there's some real buzz around Jackson Dart sitting behind Justin Fields this year. And I don't see why people will be dead against that. Now, when it comes to, of course, drafting at pick 7, that's where I understand where the hesitation is. And I agree with that. I completely agree. That is where the hesitation will be amongst Jets fans. So I feel like if you're a Jets fan, you got to start opening your mind a little bit, because I feel like another thing about this Jets team that we need to realize, we have no idea the tendencies of this new regime. We do not know what Darren Muji is about, what Aaron Glenn is about. So we don't know what their plans are for this NFL draft. We don't know what they prioritize, right? Joe Douglas, I got a good idea of the type of GM he is, right? I knew that he drafts a running back pretty much every single year. I know that he likes to draft wide receivers in the second round every year. I got a good feel of who Joe Douglas is, but now we don't have him anymore. We have a brand new general manager. So I don't know the tendencies of Darren Muji. Do you? No, you don't. Because there's nothing to lean on besides his time with the Denver Broncos as an assistant. And by the way, he's an assistant over there, not the guy. So I feel like when you're the Jets and you're looking at Darren Muji, for example, I'm excited to see what he does. I really, really am. What's your guys' thoughts of Darren Muji and your overall expectations of him as a general manager in his first NFL draft? And I also think the philosophy of this Jets team heading into this draft is going to be unique, because Aaron Glenn, he's a former scout, and he's going to have an eye for this NFL draft. And I'm sure he's going to have a huge say on who the New York Jets draft this year. So watch out for Aaron Glenn's, type of guys. And one thing that the Jets are going to do in this draft that I personally like is they're going to draft a safety. They're going to draft one in the first 3 rounds, in my opinion. Like, if you want to evaluate the holes on the Jets roster, you can say quarterback, but tight end is a huge hole. Wide receiver next to Garrett Wilson is a huge hole. Right tackle is a hole. Defensive tackle is a hole. Safety is a hole. CB2 is a hole, because I know we brought in Brandon Stevens, but I still think CB2 long-term is a hole. So, those are the holes in the Jets roster. You can't have a perfect roster. If the Jets were a perfect roster, we'd be contenders. And I think we can all agree we're not currently contenders right now. So if the Jets go into this draft, potentially getting Tyler Warren in the first round, that solves the tight end issue. In round number 2, draft a wide receiver, Jaden Higgins, for example. That solves your number 2 receiver. In round number 3, maybe you go offensive tackle, get a right tackle, or you go defensive tackle. Or maybe the Jets want to draft a quarterback like a Colin McCord or Tyler Show or Jalen Milroe, or maybe it is Jackson Dart. I don't know. There's so many options, and I'm really excited to see where the Jets go in this draft, because it's intriguing. When you have a brand new regime coming on in, it adds a completely different element of an unknown. And I think that's something that this Jets fan base is going to be embracing, is the unknown element of this team. Is a complete unknown element happening here where we just don't really know what to expect. You absolutely don't know what to expect at all. So that's how I look at it. You got to go into this season with a complete unknown feeling, man. Complete unknown. And I feel like you look across the NFL, what is Justin Fields going to look like as a Jet? That's a big question. How is Justin Fields going to look as a New York Jet? Because you look at what he's done in his NFL career with the Chicago Bears, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, now with the New York Jets. Woo! This is going to be interesting, man. This is going to be interesting because I, first of all, think that the Jets were smart to go after Justin Fields in free agency 110%. And I love that he's wearing number 7, by the way. I think that fits him perfectly. If you like Justin Fields in number 7, let me know, because I absolutely love Justin Fields in the jersey number 7 personally. But I think the cool thing about the addition of Justin Fields, folks, is that he's going to bring a new layer to this offense we haven't seen. I'm going to go out there on a limb and say that the Jets are going to be a top 5 rushing attack in football this year, just because of the overall ability of Justin Fields. I expect Justin Fields to have minimum 750 yards on the ground this year if he's healthy. If he plays full 17 games, I think there's a world where he gets over 1,000 yards rushing. He's done it before. Why not again? And I think adding a Justin Fields opens up the potential of the Jets offense of being a ground and pound offense. Because the one thing we know that Justin Fields brings is the mobility. The unknown is his ability to be consistent as a passer. Will he be able to throw the ball down the field efficiently? Will he be able to read the defense? Will he be able to stay in the pocket, make the right throws? Is he going to turn the ball over too much, right? Those are the real questions we need to have here regarding Justin Fields. But I feel like if you're a Jets fan, man, you look at this offense right now on paper, 4 of the 5 offensive linemen is set with Olu Fashanu at left tackle, John Simpson at left guard, Joe Timmon at center, AVT at right guard, just got a hole at right tackle, which is fine, by the way. The fact that we have 1 hole is massive instead of 3 holes. And then you add the running backs. I love the Jets running backs. Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis. I think those are 3 quality running backs. The read options for this Jets offense is going to be off the charts. And then you add in Garrett Wilson, of course. So the running attack for this Jets team is going to be lethal, because I think the offensive line is what you need first in order to succeed on the ground as an offense. And then number 2, you need a running back and, even better, a running quarterback. And now the Jets are going to have that running quarterback. The read options are going to go wild. Play action bootlegs, get Justin Fields out in the run. Because the cool thing about Fields, too, is he can throw the ball very well on the run. Moving to his right, moving to his left. They can get him out in movement. They can utilize his athleticism as a skill set. And that's unique. You look around the NFL, all the top quarterbacks can move. Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, can move. Like probably the best quarterback in the NFL in terms of running the football, in my opinion. Josh Allen, just recent MVP. He runs the ball extremely well at the quarterback spot. Patrick Mahomes, it's not a big part of his game, but he can move if he needs to. He can pick up the first down with his legs. Joe Burrow, he's more of that guy that can move around the pocket, use his legs, doesn't rely on his athleticism a lot, but you get the point here. In today's NFL, you got to be able to move. You got to be able to be mobile. And here's a stat for you guys about Justin Fields that some people don't know. Justin Fields is one of 3 quarterbacks in NFL history to have a season with over 1,000 rushing yards at the quarterback position. One of 3 quarterbacks. You know who those other quarterbacks are? Former Jet Mike Vick and Lamar Jackson. So Justin Fields is in pretty good territory in terms of the mobile quarterbacks. Mike Vick was like the first ever mobile quarterback to kind of revolutionize the game. And then came Lamar Jackson. And now here's Justin Fields. Could Justin Fields fulfill the shoes of Mike Vick? I mean, prime Mike Vick was unreal. Lamar Jackson in his prime right now is flawless. So I think what this Jets team's got to be able to do is really buy in to what Justin Fields' strengths are, which is, of course, being a run-first offense. And I think that's what they're going to do. And if he can figure himself out offensively, bro, passing the ball, watch out for this Jets football team next year, because that's going to change absolutely everything. Now, I wanted to get into Garrett Wilson because I wanted to provide a little update on him. I want to provide an update on what you need to know about Mr. Garrett Wilson, because the extension is looming. And every single Jets fan is wondering, when will the New York Jets extend Garrett Wilson? Will they ever? What's the contract? What's the latest news? What's the latest updates? Right? And I think what we're hearing so far from Rich Cimini of ESPN, he said that Aaron Glenn and Garrett Wilson, they've talked multiple times. Garrett Wilson seems to be on board and happy with the progress and with the new identity that's coming here. He's all on board. He's happy about Justin Fields being the Jets' new quarterback. But it does not seem like the Jets have even talked about an extension yet with Garrett Wilson. So that's the latest update of Garrett Wilson. Definitely not something to be worried about, folks. Definitely not something to be worried about, because I think if you're a Jets fan, there has to be a sense of patience. I don't think the Jets are going to rush to extend anybody until after the NFL draft. This is a brand new regime. They got to do a lot of homework on these prospects. And I expect the contract extensions with Garrett and even Sauce and those guys are going to come in the offseason. Well, we are in the offseason, but more in the summer, heading into training camp. I think that's when these talks are really going to start picking up some steam here. So that's how I would operate if you're a Jets fan, wondering when are they going to extend Garrett Wilson. I would just pause a little bit and not get your hopes up. That's going to happen anytime soon. Could it happen right before the season starts? Absolutely, but I don't know when. I really don't know when it's going to happen, and I feel like if you're a Jets fan, just slow the expectations down. Now, when it comes to Sauce Gardner is an interesting one, because Derek Stingley Jr. just reset the cornerback market, completely reset the cornerback market, and I feel like if you're a Jets fan, you're looking at the CB market. Derek Stingley Jr. got that bag. Sauce Gardner is going to demand that. Now, my question is, are the Jets going to ask Sauce, hey, go out there and play well under us. Go be a first-team All-Pro within our scheme, and then we'll give you the bag. Could that be what the Jets say? Because let's be honest, Sauce Gardner, in his 3 years in the league, first-team All-Pro twice under Robert Saleh. This past season was not a first-team All-Pro. Still had a good season, in my opinion, despite all the hate you see online. Go watch the film. Sauce was a really good football player last year. But my question is Aaron Glenn and this coaching staff going to tell Sauce, hey, we believe in you long-term, but we want to see what you look like in our scheme. We want to see how you look like with our philosophy before we lock you up long-term. I don't know if that's an actual thing. That's just pure speculation. Could be saying the same thing with Garrett Wilson, but I think it's a little different there. So, because when Sauce had a quote-unquote down year last year and Derek Stingley had a breakout year, he gets the bag, and now everyone's forgetting how good Sauce is. So, I really think that Sauce is going to be here long-term. The cool thing about Sauce Gardner, folks, that you got to keep reminding yourself is what? He wants to be a Jet long-term. He absolutely wants to be here. And I think that means a lot. That means a lot to this Jets organization that he wants to be here. It means a lot to the fan base, more particular. It means a lot to the fan base, folks. And that's something you got to be excited about if you're a Jets fan. All right. Now, there is a talking point that I wanted to talk about with you guys that has been a pretty interesting topic around Jets fans regarding a certain player that could be traded. I'm not going to say he's going to be traded, but there's some speculation that he's not happy. And his name is Quincy Williams. It's interesting because Quincy Williams is a man that is getting grossly underpaid. He just saw his teammate, Jamie Sherwood, get the contract that he wants, a 3 years, $45 million deal. Does Quincy Williams ask to be traded because he wants to get extended? Does he play out the final year of his deal? Do the Jets extend him long-term? There's some people saying the Jets could trade Quincy and draft a linebacker to replace him. I mean, there's a lot of things going on about Quincy. I'm a big fan of Quincy Williams. I think in this blitz-heavy scheme that we're about to implement with Steve Wilks and Aaron Glenn, a guy like Quincy Williams would thrive. He's still young, still has upside. I know he was a first-team All-Pro 2 years ago. This past year, not the case. And you look at the contract, it's definitely cheap. It's a bargain deal. So that's really what's interesting. And another thing to note, Quincy Williams, after the season ended last year, he tweeted something along the lines of, show me the money, meaning he wants a pay increase. And you look at the market, you look around the league, you're seeing a lot of players get the bag. So I'm sure Quincy Williams is out there asking for a pay raise, and the Jets got to make that decision to redo his contract or trade him, or if he's really upset, he's maybe hold out. That's definitely a some type. Just consider as Jets fans, and you got to, prepare yourself for the worst at some points, but don't be too concerned about that. Another player that not a lot of people are talking about when it comes to a potential contract extension, right? Everyone about Garrett Wilson. Everyone's talking about Sauce Gardner. We're even talking about our boy Quincy Williams here on the screen. But there is one specific player that I feel like we need to start talking about at regards a potential contract extension, and his name is Mr. Elijah Vera Tucker. AVT, baby. I want AVT here long-term. He's coming off a really good season last year. 14-plus games started at right guard, and the only issue with AVT this in his career has been health, and he's coming off a really healthy season, and he is entering his 5th and final year under contract. He's entering his 5th-year option with the New York Jets, and I want continuity up front. I would absolutely think of locking up long-term Elijah Vera Tucker before the start of this season if you can get a good contract, because the versatility he brings to the position, the all-pro upside, and if he, oh man, that's someone I want to build long-term, because you look at this offensive line, Olu's here, cheap, don't got to worry about him yet. Joe Tippmann's here, cheap, don't got to worry about him yet. John Simpson, he's entering a contract year. Our 2 guards are entering contract years. So if I'm the Jets and you're looking at potential extensions, Elijah Vera Tucker is a name. Now, he could be a franchise tag candidate next year. Say he balls out and the Jets want to keep him long-term, but you can only use your franchise tag on one player, and Breece Hall could be that guy next year as well. So that's my thoughts about AVT. I definitely feel like Elijah Vera Tucker is deserving of a contract extension, but maybe this Jets team wants to make sure he can stay healthy for 2 straight years before you commit that money. Like, the last thing I want is a Mekhi Becton situation. Mekhi Becton injured with the Jets, but when he was healthy, he played well, had 1 bad year with the Jets. He leaves the Jets in free agency, goes to the Eagles, completely balls out with Philadelphia. And I want AVT to ball out with the Jets, folks. I don't want him to go anywhere else to ball out. That's how I look at it. So let's hope AVT is a player that is part of this Jets team long-term, because you look at this offensive line, I'm telling you, folks, it's a strength. It's been a long time since us Jets fans can say the offensive line is a strength. And they need to add depth, because you got to prepare for injuries. I think Myers coming in is good depth inside, but this Jets offense is going to start with the offensive line, and maybe this Jets team could go Armand Membu in the first round, now that I think about it, because you need to prioritize the trenches, and that's what this Jets team is going to be doing in the NFL draft, in my opinion. That's how you got to look at it, folks. And I feel like there's a lot of people speculating what this Jets team is going to do in the first round, and it's hard to predict. It really is hard to predict, because we don't know the tendencies of general manager Darren Muji or head coach Aaron Glenn yet. They can make a pick that nobody sees coming. They can go corner. Imagine they go Will Johnson, Michigan. I mean, what? Who saw that coming? That's a possibility, but wow, that would be an interesting one. For example, what if they go a position that nobody is talking about? What if they go safety? I mean, that's what this is all about. We all need to weigh our options as Jets fans, and that's why it's exciting to do it. And I feel like a big part of the offensive line, the reason why I think it's going to be better this year, and you got to add this context, is the coaching is going to be different. The coaching staff is going to be a difference maker. Last year, the offensive line, they were good individually, but as a unit, they were not good. They weren't cohesive, and a lot of that has to do with coaching. So I'm hoping that this brand new coaching staff is going to coach up this offensive line and provide a good, proper scheme to open up the holes in the run game, to pass protect for Justin Fields. And I'm not saying last year the offensive line was perfect. It wasn't. But if you look at the PFF grades, individually speaking, they all were in the upper echelon of the NFL. So there's upside. They're young. There's no one old on this offensive line. They're all in the prime of their careers. So it's going to be an exciting time. It's going to be an exciting time. So, folks, we're live here on Bleacher Report. We're going to wrap up the show here on the great Bleacher Report app. Make sure you guys follow me over here on Bleacher Report. We're live on Bleacher Report every Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. It'll mean a lot to you, a lot to me, everybody that's watching on YouTube, to come over to the Bleacher Report app, download the Bleacher Report app, and follow along. They got awesome content on here every single day. I mean, you turn on the Bleacher Report app, there's content galore everywhere, and I'm very fortunate to be part of the great Bleacher Report creator program. So We're going to sign off here on Bleacher Report. I appreciate everybody tuning in live on the BR app, and we'll see you guys next week on Wednesday, 6 p.m. EST. We're still live on YouTube, though. T. Rivera with a super chat. Thank you, my friend. He says, Rich, I feel this year Mooj is bringing in a possible starter, but also great backups for our team, creating a foundation for D26 draft free agency splash. Woo! T. Rivera, appreciate it, man. I had to wait to get off Bleacher Report before I can read your super chat, and I appreciate the super chat, my friend. I think that you have a good point. You do have a good point, my friend. Absolutely love that. Love that point from T. Rivera. Coaching and new trainers. That is a good point. That is another good point. So, folks, we're going to wrap up the show here. I do want to remind you guys that we are about to be live on the AFC East Roundtable tonight. And if you guys want to come support me, I always appreciate Jets fans coming through to this channel. If you guys want to go over to this channel right now and support me, it would mean a lot. Go over there. We'll be live at 7 p.m. in a half hour or so. So definitely go out there and support your boy on the AFC East Roundtable. We put up a poll that basically shows who's representing in the chat. So if you guys want to go out there and support me, that would mean a lot to me. So go over there to the AFC East Roundtable and support Jets Nation in the chat, folks. Here's a link to it, and that's going to wrap up this show. Peace out, and I love you guys. See you on the AFC East Roundtable tonight. JT, I shot you a DM on X. Just go check it out so you can tell me what color jersey you want. And yeah, love you guys. We'll see you on the AFC East Roundtable. Peace. Ow!